I guess I don't really think about it on the like what's gonna happen. So I was thinking about like I really see no point in it. Like,
we really don't think about what's gonna happen to us when we're older, but. Yeah. But sometimes, like, that's one of the main subjects when people ask us, like, if you smoke, well, what's going to happen when you're older? Like, I don't know, when I'm 15, I'm not going to think about that right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing how much we can learn from teenagers when we just take the time to listen to them. Throughout these interviews, I was really impressed by their knowledge about the subject of tobacco, their insights into why kids smoke and why they don't smoke, and just their basic astuteness about the whole topic.
I think I was probably offered my first cigarette somewhere in my later years of high school.
In all honesty, yes, I have smoked before. I'm currently quitting, and it's like...
I'm addicted, but I never thought about myself as addicted until now, I guess.
I mean, it kind of sucks now because, like, I've tried to stop and it just doesn't happen.
You know, if I could not smoke, I probably would.
No teen grows up thinking, I'm going to become addicted to tobacco. What they generally think is, I'm just going to try it for a little while and then I can stop. But then, boom, they're addicted and the whole ballgame changes.
Just when I tried my first cigarette, it was just, you know, it was a good feeling, you know. And it was just, it relieves stress.
It calms you down. Like, it really, really calms you down.
Why do you think they smoke? Do they just not know?
I don't know. I think it's partially stress, and so it's that relieves it, but your problems that you have are still there when the cigarette is gone.
Well, a lot of people say they use it, it's a good way to leave stress, because, I mean, it's stressful times when you're a teenager. So.
As parents, we really need to monitor the kind of stress our teenagers are under. It seems like more and more the teens that continue to smoke, in spite of all the information and knowledge that it's dangerous, do so because they've found it's the only way they can reduce the stress in their lives. Some of the ways we can help teens learn to deal with stress is by emphasizing problem solving, using our good communication skills to help them learn to think of alternative ways to deal with situations.
There are other ways to deal with stress. Other than like,
it would cause more stress. It's like
yeah.
I ran out of money, can't pay for it anymore. I don't know, it's the stress of like they want me to quit and I don't want to quit. Don't want to put myself through that.
So it can reduce stress in terms of the chemicals, but it adds stress in a lot of other ways.
I know, like a lot of my friends, they say they start it as like, I mean, some of them will fall to peer pressure and stuff.
They see other people do it and they're like, oh, that's cool, I want to be cool.
Peer pressure could be one thing I think could be heavy because a lot of kids who want to fit in, they're going to see this crowd that's supposed like popular or whatever. A lot of teens that make the choice to smoke think they're doing so out of free will. But if you look at who their friends are and what groups they hang out with, it's a good chance those kids smoke too.
Like if one person starts smoking,
might be like a chain.
Yeah, just chain, like everybody starts smoking.
I have plenty of friends who smoke a pack a day, so maybe it was a little bit of peer pressure in there.
I think what I heard from the teens, often at a subtle level, was it's not so much that they're pressured by their friends to smoke, but they just want to go along with the group of friends that they think are cool. Then they want to conform to that group. So you really might consider it more peer conformity rather than peer pressure.
They offer usually to be nice, just because it's just a polite thing to do.
Yeah, common courtesy most of the time, and they'll sit there and be like, hey, do you want to do this? I'm doing it too. And
So but I've never personally, you know, pushed anybody and said, here, man, take a drag, you know, or like, here, have a cigarette. I've never, you know, I mean, it's my, like I said, it's an addiction, and I wouldn't recommend it. So I'm, you know, because of that, I wouldn't, you know, that said, I wouldn't want somebody to start smoking because of me.
So what can parents do to help combat this peer conformity? Well, one thing you can't do is choose your teenager's friends. That's just a recipe for conflict and disaster, really. What you can do is to build on the fact that teens want to see themselves as independent, free-thinking young people. Talk to them about that and how to make their own decisions, and then segue into what are you going to do if you're with a group of friends that want to smoke? You know, you want to think for yourself, and yet you still want to be friends with these kids. And then use that as a way to talk about how you can say no, still save face, still feel good about yourself, and still continue to be friends with these kids if you want to.
Well, I choose not to smoke because I don't want to look bad. I don't want to die at an early age.
The risk, coughing, not being able to run.
Well, you don't want to walk around smelling like an ashtray. Okay. Your teeth are going to be all brown. And
well, we'd like all teenagers to make the decision not to smoke because they really understand the health risks. Because those health risks often are so far in the future, it's easy for kids to deny that that's going to ever happen to them. So for many kids, it's more effective to really talk about consequences that are more here and now, things like the effect of smoking on your appearance.
I would tell her not to smoke, that it would make her breath stink, and rotten your teeth out. Yeah, and you don't want to ruin your pretty teeth.
People around me smoking, I see how they look, and they just don't look good.
Teeth get yellow, and your skin gets bad, and your fingernails, and your fingertips get yellow, and it makes your breath stink.
Oh yeah, teeth, your skin, you get the tar fingers.
It is disgusting. It is, yeah, and yeah, it's disgusting.
Kids that I talked to during these interviews that chose not to smoke seem very proud of that decision. In fact, it became a real part of their identity that I don't smoke.
I'm me, so I'm not gonna let anybody influence me, and if I don't like what's going on at the time, then I'm gonna just stray away from it. So.
Personally, I'm a really independent thinker. I make decisions based on what I believe.
Me personally, like, I feel proud to say I don't smoke. I don't do drugs, I don't do anything, so I'm proud to say that.
Again, that self-esteem is something that we as parents really need to build in our kids from a young age, so to develop the courage to be able to stand up and say, hey, this is me, this is what I believe. I don't have to go along with the group.
You know, my father smoked, so I've always been around it since I was little. You know, I just thought, let's just try it just one cigarette.
I don't think there's any way you can do something and tell your kids not to do it.
You can't really say not to smoke if you smoke.
One of the things that teens will say if a parent smokes is that they don't have any right to tell me not to smoke because they're just being hypocrites. Don't fall for it. Whether you're currently a smoker or whether you used to be a smoker and gave it up, you still have the right, even the obligation, to take a firm stand with your kids that it's not okay with you and your family for them to smoke.
Tell them at a very young age that smoking is very bad for you. That it's very bad.
I had a fourth grade teacher named Ms. Watson, and she would just always instill that. She would go, if you don't learn anything from this class, just remember not to smoke. She just said not to smoke. And I don't know what brought that about, but she would always say that.
If we want our children to grow up to be teenagers that make the decision not to smoke, then it's up to us to build a relationship with them early on that carries the weight of trust and communication and love, and lets them know that we value them and care about their happiness, that it's not just us saying no and don't and shouldn'ts and all of this kind of stuff. That when we have that kind of relationship with our kids, when they know we care about them and their self-esteem and how things are really going for them in their life, then we talk to them about not smoking. It really has some credibility.
Confront them in a way that they can relate to and they're not like scared of or they're not like threatened by. Yeah, because that's just going to want to make them do it more.
I really don't think that there's anything you can tell teenagers that will actually work.
Really, it's because the parents can't be around the kids 100% of the time. And the kids are going to do what they want to do no matter what.
In the end, it's your choice, it's your life.
I'm going to have to disagree with the teenagers on this one. In fact, most of the teenagers that you just heard from do smoke. We know that when teenagers know that their parents would be upset if they smoked, that they're at least half as likely to smoke to begin with. I think it's really important because of all the pressures on teenagers and all the conformity issues and things that are going on with them in terms of self-esteem and stress, that they need the encouragement of a parent who's willing to take a firm stand and set limits and let them know that it's not okay in our family for you to smoke.
It's more like I just feel happy. I have no desire. Like I don't really. It doesn't seem like I great, and I just.
Doesn't seem like we benefit from it at all. Like
Yeah.
We just,
Quit cold turkey. So I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure I have the willingness to quit. I just need the willpower. I'm sure if I actually wanted to, I could with a lot of, effort.
Really, what they say, like you lie in bed, you make yourself, they mean it and it's tough. So, I mean, that influence is more like motivation to actually become better.
I'm becoming more acutely aware of my health and wellness and well-being. The older I get, I think that it's becoming a time to quit.
I think if we were having this conversation a year from now, I would not be smoking.
I want to close by thanking those teenagers that took their time to talk with us during these interviews. As I said earlier, they're an amazing group of kids with a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge. I also want to commend and thank you for being here to watch this video. It says a lot about your commitment to being effective parents. You're not in this alone. There are other parents out there and other professionals that will support and work with you to be the most effective parents that you can be.